Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Pure Dead PlayStation. You all know me by now. I am Dony, and joining me tonight to discuss last night's state of play, the wonderful Mr. Joe, Mr. Badbit. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing pretty good for the first time in a while. Actually somewhat optimistic on PlayStation. It's a nice change,
Good. And Mr. Skeptical, Mr. Dutch, with the
Yeah,
raised eyebrows right there already. How are you, sir?
yeah, I'm good. I'm good. No, it was nice. It was nice to see them finishing on a high on that show and actually giving a game for next year, which is what I've been waiting for. So
Okay.
I have a game. So I'm
You have
glad.
a game.
I
A
have a
game.
game.
You have a game.
Yeah, I'm talking about when I'm talking about PlayStation. We'll get into it though. But I bought PlayStations solely as an exclusive machine.
Fair enough.
No, there is no third-party games on there. I don't use it for multi-plat games. Everything like that is on the Xbox or on PC. So
Yeah.
PlayStation is strictly for PlayStation first-party exclusives.
For those
So that's what I've
wonderful
been waiting for.
exclusives. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
And Chris in the chat says, "Well done getting roast on the podcast." That's obviously a shout out to the beard there, Mr. Good. Yeah, listen. I mean, obviously, state of play was last night. We all knew it was coming. It didn't take a genius to work out we were going to get one in September, but every insider knew, so that was great. So, wanted to get you both here to get your thoughts on the proceedings, kind of what you thought. I thought we were just going to start with maybe both your sort of expectations of what was of what you thought the show might have been, and then just kind of like high level thoughts on kind of what you thought of it, and then we can kind of go through. I've wrote down a list of games here, but listen, we can go through some of them. There's things you guys might want to jump in and add in, whatever, and then obviously at the end we got a couple of nice big ones as you already mentioned, Dutch. So yeah, listen, Joe, feel free to start us off. Expectations, high level thoughts overall.
Yeah, let's do it. So expectations were low to the ground. To me, PlayStation State of Plays, I'm usually like, oh, this is the worst thing ever, and then everybody loves it or everybody hates it. I'm like, this is genuinely one of the best. So I had no idea what was going to be had. I just knew it wasn't going to be like the showcase event. I kind of think they're done with those for a very long time. So I was expecting, what can I expect out of the next 6 to 8 months? And that is kind of exactly what we got here. So my expectations, my high level expectations they were met. And I think end capping it with the Ghost sequel, that is where I am very optimistic for the future of PlayStation. Kind of getting that whiff of a roadmap was kind of enough to me to get a little satiated. We now know that Death Stranding's supposed to come out next year. We now know that Ghost is supposed to come out next year, knock on wood. So I'm excited. We got the two big games to look forward to. And then at the same exact time, a lot of like cool, interesting indies, AA, and even selling me somehow more on Dragon Age, which I thought showed really well. As someone who is not the biggest in that series, I thought that was a really great trailer. So they showed a lot that I'm interested in, a lot that I'm going to be buying, and I can't sit here and be like the event planner going, well, I would have taken this game out, because like I'm buying a lot of games that are on this list. So I walked out very pleasantly pleased at what we got here.
Yeah, I mean, I always say I always think I'm a bit more pragmatic with these sort of state of plays. And it doesn't matter if it's showcase Xbox side or whatever.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant. I always think if you're seeing 20 games in a show, for example, we got last night, or 21, 22 in total, I think if you walk away from that going, there's 5 of those I want to buy, I think you go, great. That's a great show. I mean, since when do we buy 25% of games anyway? So I was thinking if you can take 5 from it, I go, good show for me. And I think like you looking down the list, there's probably 8 or 9, I think, that I'd probably definitely be interested in, or kind of teetering on some of them. So yeah, I'm kind of on you there. And what about you, Dutch?
Yeah, much like Joe, I've especially over recent years, I have had extremely low on the floor expectations of state of plays. We've had some okay announcements in there over the time. Astrobot was a nice surprise announcement for the last State of Play.
Yep.
And of course, it was a great game that's recently arrived. Death Stranding was one of those, and another previous State of Play. But again, it's always usually been a singular announcement at the end of a relatively mediocre, if not relatively poor State of Play in general. So it's always been one that's up. Like even Astrobot, to be fair, that State of Play was and then Astrobot ended it, and I was like, actually, that's really good, and I like that they've expanded it, and it's not just Astro's Playroom or some VR game, and they've actually made it into a full-fledged title. So I was happy about that. So yeah, it's a case of I've been shouting from the rooftops for quite some time, specifically, and I mentioned that before, but specifically because I have it as an exclusive machine, I want to know the roadmap of PlayStation going forward. I need to know what I can expect to be playing in the coming years. Now, we get showcases from everybody these days, whether it be Jeff Keighley or Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo, the Game Awards or Tokyo Game Show. Like, there's showcases left, right, and center for multiplats. So when I'm focusing on these console-specific or platform-specific showcases or events, I want to see what they're bringing to the table, not specifically just third party. So yeah, I'm glad it finished on a high, put it that way. We have extremely differing thoughts on Horizon, so I will not go into Horizon slander on this show.
Well, to be fair, we're going to get there. We're going to get
slander
there.
it, dude. Go and get speak.
Yeah, we're going to get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. You can have your moment to slag off Aloy.
Yeah.
You dirty bastard. You dirty bastard.
But yeah, there's other than that, there's a few good things. It was nice to see how quickly they've got some DLC prepared for Astrobot as well. Yeah, which was awesome to see. It's one of the games that I've got in the backlog after I finished playing Visions of Mana, which I've said I am going to plow through before I pick up anything else, because I have this really bad habit of picking up 6 games at the same time and just teetering between them all, and none of them get finished. Yeah. So I've just set myself in a way now where I'm like, right, finish this, then next. So yeah, Astrobot's the next one, and then I'll be moving on to the one after that.
Yeah, I think we can all be a little bit guilty of doing that at times, can't we? Picking up too many games at once and then and not finishing. It's a sign of the fact that there's just so many games, man. You know, and it's so difficult to manage it all. It's proper first world problem stuff, isn't it?
It is.
It is, you know. Go on the days when you were younger and you got a game for your birthday and a game for your Christmas. You know, that was about, had to fucking last year. You were getting nothing else. Listen, you mentioned obviously the Astrobot DLC, and that's kind of where the show started. I thought it got off to a nice welcome start because I wasn't expecting DLC that quickly. Obviously, it's coming fall 2024, which obviously Americanisms is anything between now and November. Joe, I'm guessing you class it as that. Obviously, it showed off. It's got Helldivers bots. Eve is finally in there. She was missing from the main one. 5 new stages and 10 new bots in total. So, listen, I will take more Astrobot. The game is great, apart from those fucking time trials. Good luck with those, Dutch. And obviously, James in the chat saying the same. Listen, Astrobot DLC will be class. So, yeah. Joe, what do you think of the DLC?
Oh man, yeah, I love Astrobot so much. This is, I don't know if it's my game of the year yet, because it's really between that and Balatro right now, because Balatro is life. Remember last time, Dony? Remember?
I know.
140 hours. You can't argue with Balatro.
Right.
Love that game. But like Astrobot, man, there's just, I want more slow-mo missions, like so bad. I really loved the Matrix mechanics that they put in there. I think that was one of my, like, I love when platformers do these like really unique things that make them like wholly different, and that casino level just blows my mind. And even that boss in that section is just great. So yeah, more Astrobot's a good thing. I'm not a speedrunner, but I'll certainly try my darndest. Seeing my little Helldivers in there, that's awesome. Seeing Stellar Blade being cheeky is hilarious. So yeah, man, I love Astrobot. More of that. Yeah. Please. Yeah, and my dog is angry at someone. We got to find out who.
I can hear that, yeah. All good. Yeah, no, listen, it's good. So obviously for you, Dutch, you're going to be hopefully starting that soon then.
Yeah.
by
to
then,
be fair, I went back and played through and platinumed Astrobot Playroom just because I sat there and I installed it when I first got the PlayStation, and I was like, I've got to actually install big games now. So let's install the big stuff, and then I played all the big stuff, and then I've just went back to it. Instead of picking up Astrobot, which I would have immediately jumped on and then not played Visions of Mana, I went, to satiate myself on this Astrobot, I will finish Playroom.
Good.
The only thing I would I hope for from Astrobot in the future, and this isn't a slight on the game in itself, but I just want it to go off in a direction that isn't just focusing on, look, this is a PlayStation 5, and look, these are PlayStation 5 characters, and look, I want Astrobot to be its own thing that doesn't...
a bit more depth.
Yeah, well, not just that, it doesn't just focus around like the history of PlayStation. Like, I would like Astrobot to have his own adventure and do his own thing without, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, I actually like that Kotaku piece a bit. I know everybody read the headline and just started yelling at the author. But like, there is some truth there, because like, you're right. Like, I'm like, I get like celebrating the history of PlayStation. I think you can do that, but like, maybe he's driving his own little spaceship. You know what I mean? That said, though, like, the ending makes me go, you know what? No, stick with the console. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you beat that game, you know. So there's some of it. It's like, I love the celebration of PlayStation, but I do think there is an argument of like, yeah, but it could be more than just PlayStation. It could be its own thing, you know.
In the future, of course, these first couple of big titles from them, which was first started with Astro Playroom, then Astro the VR one. I keep forgetting the name of it, and now this Astrobot. They're great as they are. Don't change them. I'm not angry at them that they've celebrated PlayStation on these ones, but I want to see Astrobot dive into its own thing for the next ones. Like, you've celebrated PlayStation in its history, especially on Playroom, where you went through PlayStation 1 and 2 and 3 and Vita and the PSP and the PS1 Mini, whatever it was called again, or literally PS1. So it's celebrated all of the back catalogue now. So let's go and do its own thing now.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
And like Chris said in the
other
chat,
than that, really fun game. To be fair, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the silly trophies you've got to do where you gather everybody up and you've got to get them punched off the floor and things at the same time. So you've got to just go back to traditional fun games, and that's what we miss out on sometimes.
Yeah. And to be fair, like Chris said in the chat, the VR game that everyone raved about had very little PS Legacy stuff in there, so they clearly can do it, you know. So and apparently Astro at the Olympics is another suggestion. So there you go.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I included the next one in just because of yourself, Dutch, and obviously I thought that Chris might be in the chat. Midnight Walk, obviously, which was kind of a claymation, kind of macabre game. It's going to VR2 as well. Nice to see a bit of support there. But I just thought I'd just include this in, just because I thought it very much reminded me of a sort of Chris game that is in the chat, and I thought, well, Dutch, you being Mr. Indie as well, I thought maybe you'd have kind of some thoughts on this and kind of what you thought of it.
Yeah, it's I really like the style. To be fair, again, looks very macabre. It does look very grim. I think there was a lot of people saying, "What have you done to Astro?" When they saw the character first, what happened? It's like an evil Astro. But no, it does. It looks really great. To be fair, I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued. Yeah. There's a lot of awesome indie games coming out. To be fair, and every time I see a new one, it's always something a little bit more different, a little bit more inventive. And I know seeing your kind of things on Putty Squire the other day, Joe, but at least in its game stylings, it's something fresh. And it's something a little bit different the way that they've kind of done it. As you have your gripes about it, I like that indies are taking these risks still in doing something a little bit different.
I agree with that.
Continue.
And I got Little Nightmare vibes as well, as Chris has said there. So definitely thought that he'd be interested. So one of the sort of next games we got was one of my takeaways was Hell Is Us. I thought this looked really damn good. Now I've done a bit of reading on it today, and they've kind of gone for the sort of Elden Ring vibe. It's going to have no map markers, no hand holding, pure exploration, which does put me off a little bit because I do like my hand being held. Got really good kind of dark themes, control themes I got from it as well. got a bit of control from there. I thought it looked awesome, really good. I'm kind of really excited to see more. Although, like I said, the sort of the lack of the attention to exploration, I'm a little bit like, okay, I'll end up just reading a guide like I did with Elden Ring. That's the only thing. But this looked great.
Oh, this looks awesome. I love what our co-host Light said. She gave it where she's like, it kind of feels like Ghostwire meets like Death Stranding type of vibes that we were getting from it.
Yep.
And so I'm very curious. Again, speaking of games that are doing something different, this game looks really different.
Yep.
So I can't wait to see more of this game in 2025. And yeah, to go back to like what Dutch is saying, I love that we're seeing more of like, let's highlight some weird stuff from publishers you don't normally see at big events like these. I like that. So yeah, no, this Hell Is Us was an immediate, this is on a list. Yeah, this is something I'm watching out for.
I put a star next to it when I was writing my notes.
Yeah.
Yourself, Dutch, is this one for you, do you think?
Yeah, it's one that it's intrigued. I wasn't quite sure what to make of it when I was watching it, and not in a bad way. I just couldn't quite place my finger on what gaming style it was going for. Do you know when you see it, like especially an action game like that, and you think, is this a Souls-like, or is it more of just an action RPG, or is it what is it? But it looks great. It looks fantastic. Stylistically, it looks fun. So I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued to see more about it as time goes on. It was the same kind of intrigue that I've got for that Claire Obscura Expedition 33, where you first see it, you're like, I'm not sure what this is about, and then all of a sudden this awesome action sequence kicks off, and you're like, oh, it's that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's another one that's kind of on the list there where I'm like, right, okay, that's cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I'm looking forward to learning more about it as time goes on. See if there is a kind of a more in-depth story element to this game, or is it a little bit more like you say an Elden Ring where you have to just figure it out for yourself.
yeah, or just read a guide like everyone else did. Playing that game.
Yeah.
We all pretended we found everything, did we? Fuck. Yeah, we're all the same.
We're all the same. I never like real talk when it comes to like building characters and like stats. I'm like always a guide. Always a guide. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm
always a guide.
What is it? Fextra Life. They're gonna help me out all the time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's the same when I'm playing Diablo, man. 500 hours of Diablo. Oh yeah, I'm guiding that all the time. Build guides, baby. I ain't clever enough to work that shit out myself.
Dude, I got a full-time job and a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I got like 3 minutes. Wow, me here. Yeah.
The old school way that when I was younger. We're all about the same age. When you start a big game like that or an RPG was just to grind to death until you're absolutely overpowered, and then just force yourself through the game by being overpowered.
Brute force it. Yeah, exactly. And that's why like especially in like games like World of Warcraft taught me that. It's like just grind. You'll eventually get there.
Yeah. Just brute force your way through the game. You'll be fine.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Worry about all that end game stuff later.
Yeah, and like Chris is reminding us, Assassin's Creed had the exploration mode first too. It did, Chris. You're right, but no one fucking used it. That's the thing, Because we all need our handheld at some one way or another. We then got Metro Awakening. I just include this obviously for VR because Joe, I wasn't sure. You've got VR too?
I unfortunately do.
You unfortunately do, yeah. But I must admit, I thought this looked very good. Far too scary for me. Even if I had VR2, ain't no fucking way I'm playing this. It's not happening. It's not happening at all. But I thought it looked pretty impressive, and it's good to see a large-scale VR2 title as well.
Certainly,
so
I was
going to Quest as well. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Is it Quest
probably.
Yeah.
I'm as much shit as I talk. I'm surprised at how much PSVR stuff we actually got too. So, cool. This may be a game that's too scary for me as well, but like I'm now at this point, my room's got to set up where it's like VR doesn't make sense in this room. So the odds of me playing it are slim to none unless I play in the basement.
Yeah.
And even then that's a big if. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a bummer where things are with PSVR, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does suck. I mean, we also, to be fair, later on we also got Hitman in VR as well, which
I love Hitman so much.
Is that rumored? I feel like that was rumored. unless it was people just begging for it because it was a great idea.
Yeah.
I wasn't that impressed with what we saw.
It's a port from the PSVR 1 version, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I love Hitman. I would definitely mess around with this. Hitman 3 is one of my favorite games ever. So, yeah, no, this is like a cool neato, you know?
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of people interested in it. I suppose in a way, there's kind of something sick about it, almost having your hands there choking someone. It's a little bit creepy. You know, different on a controller.
Sometimes you just want to feel the rush without the consequences, you know?
Mm-hmm. Is that what you tell yourself when you're on that VR porn? Is it?
Let's see. Listen, this Marissa Tomei deepfake is wild, you know?
Oh, no, on that note.
You know what it is? I didn't even see the part on the Metro announcement that it was VR until after the showcase. I thought it was a new Metro game, and I was like, "Oh, really cool!" And I seen it was VR, and I was like, no!"
That's just like, it's bad enough I've got a PlayStation. I ain't got a fucking VR2.
Exactly.
It's like much like Jodo. This room is not set up for VR, and I've had VR in the past, and as much as I like it to an extent, it's just not something I would play enough to warrant it. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It is cool in its thing, but you just don't play it enough. You don't. You've got to set it up and then stand up and bugger that. I want to just sit down and relax. You know?
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't. I PSVR 2 may be my final VR headset. Unfortunately.
To be fair, it's probably going to be one of the final VR headsets, I suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arcade Chronicles. I think it's Arcade Chronicles. I must admit, I know a lot of people got put off with this the minute it was announced that it was a multiplayer online game. But I'll be honest with you, I thought this looked awesome. And what I took from it most was, if you can remember some of the combat scenes, maybe put a video up in a minute, was how weighty the combat felt. Even watching it, you're not in control of it. And I thought, fuck, that actually looks really damn good. I thought visually it looked impressive as well. It's very much a me game, to be honest with you. But I must admit, I took a lot from the combat. I thought, I'm going to keep an eye on this.
Is this an MMO? Because I did not know that.
Yeah, it's classed as it's online multiplayer action RPG. Whether you can do it without that, I don't know. But it certainly stressed the fact that it's online action RPG.
Damn, because this game looked really good, and that's what we were all kind of worried about. I'm like, is this an MMO? Because I'm seeing obvious player characters here.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
yeah. To be fair, I must admit, when looking at some of the commentary last night, people seem to be like, "Oh, this looks it's MMO." Okay, and then they completely switched off, which is fair enough. Which is fair enough. But I still took from it that I thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to keep my eye on this because visually it looks great. And that combat, I was well impressed. Everything out the screen felt very punchy, very weighty.
Yeah.
It with MMOs, it does initially, especially on early showing, because there isn't that many people messing with the netcode. But as soon as you get a big MMO under everybody's wing and you've got a full thing, then we'll see how it feels.
Yeah,
it's an entirely different beast, especially when they start kicking off and they've got to get that hurdle out the way of, and then you've got to see whether or not it retains people after that.
Yep.
But again, the only issue with MMOs, no matter how good they look, is time investment, which is what puts people off. It's like, it probably is a great game, but I just don't have the time to invest in that.
Yep.
Like, we've all got jobs, families, but just like
yeah. No, you're
I just want to play a game, turn the game off. That's it. Like, I haven't got time to invest in these things.
Yeah, they almost become a lifestyle. A lot of these games, don't they? Do with some of the hours people put in, you know.
Yeah, they very much do. I know a few. I know one of my old coworkers. She used to play Star Wars. What's it? The Old Republic MMO. Long before that game was like quote unquote dead, and she, like, that's how like she met her partner and everything. Is just like, you still play? She's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to play tonight. Not a gamer outside of that game either.
Wow.
So it's like, these games take your life. That's why I'm so afraid of them.
Well, especially if you've got like really into the universe in one, it's like it's like a kind of a comfy blanket, isn't it? You just get so used to it. You're just like, yeah, I just like, you try other games, you play other games for a little bit, and then you're just like, nah, I just want to go and play this one again.
Yep.
That's World of Warcraft, man. It's a drug.
Yeah.
Diablo 4, that's my drug.
That's fair.
Not long until your expansion. Not long.
I cannot wait. I can't. I'm in this lull at the moment, Dutch, where there's no point starting anything big. So I've just been playing a couple of things, like me and my Diablo crew, as I call them. There's 4 of us. We're playing Outriders at the moment, which is a really fun game, by the way. Really underrated game, and we're just kind of playing that just as a little time thing.
Yeah,
that's it. There's no point starting anything new. Yeah, you know, if Chris is still on, he'll be like, "Oh, go play Alan Wake 2," as he always tells me every fucking week. We then go. I know you love it. I know you love it.
I mean, that would have been a good segue into Alan Wake 2 DLC.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just a way to start us on Dragon Age Veilguard, and then it got mentioned, and I was going to reverse up, and you got in there. Thank you, my glamorous assistant. We got some footage for the lake house. I mean, obviously we didn't see anything in it. We just saw just obviously saw the sort of the world building, I suppose you could call it. And I know that this is going to be so popular because, again, I feel it's funny because obviously Alan Wake 2 didn't sell well, as I called, but the guys that I know on our Discord and you know, good friends of mine that have played it, they fucking love this game. And all of them, Chris, Couchy, all of them that have played this game on our Discord, every week they're at me to play it. But again, the problem is that, like Chris says in the chat there, I'm a shite bag, you know, and he's telling me to play it on the Pro. And well, do you know what, Chris? One day I might surprise you, my friend. But yeah, Joe, you fucking loved Alan Wake 2, so
yeah,
I'm stoked for this. And it's coming in October, by the way. Is it October? Yeah.
Yeah, man. A lot of these are coming in October, November. That's what I really liked about the State of Play. Show me what's coming in the next 90 days. God. Yeah, no, Alan Wake 2 is very close to being my game of the year last year. Baldur's Gate 3 obviously taking that crown. But I'm so excited for this expansion. This is the one I was waiting for. The episodes with the Night Springs
Control, yeah.
Oh, I guess as silly as that is, I'm like, okay. Him now traversing through the the FBC building, the oldest house. Like, dude, I want to see that. I want to see that so bad. So yeah, no, this DLC I'm immediately back in. Alan Wake, so good you have to platinum it. Very good game. Love this.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Dutch, did you play Alan Wake 2?
I'm still halfway through it. Another game that's been bookmarked. But I will say it's just the only thing I've got with those kind of games. It isn't a game I can just start and play after work. It's not. It's going to be in the right mind frame to play a horror thriller like that, especially when it's like segment to segment. You've got to pay attention. Yeah. But fantastic art style, fantastic cast and characters. I even noticed one of the Vikings cast in there is one of they do the TV adverts for the Hunters. I keep forgetting who they are, the silly names they've got in the games, but they basically just advertise these hunting things on TV all the way through Alan Wake 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one of those is one of the King Harold he is in Vikings. Oh, yeah, he's in there. I was like,
one of your cousins, is it?
Recognize him. Yeah. I recognize that guy from somewhere. Where the hell do I recognize him from? So I had a look. Yeah, but fantastic soundtrack as well. Really good soundtrack. Oh, yeah. I know people were raving over that when it first launched. And then I like how between chapters is a whole nother song that plays out. So you can just sit there, relax for a minute. The song plays out as the break between chapters. And then the next chapter starts. And I like the way that they do that. Gives you a little bit of a breather in between all the tension.
Yeah, that has... I love that soundtrack so much. And it's all original music, too. And each one has a meaning for each episode. Like, man, again, Alan Wake 2 is phenomenal. It really is. Yep. So good.
Yeah. And again, I think the only reason it didn't sell as well as people hoped it did is just because of the genre that it's in, to be fair, unless it's like a big name like your Resident Evils that everybody's aware of since the dawn of time. Alan Wake was originally a big game on Xbox, or a big-ish game on Xbox.
Yeah.
And then hasn't done anything since. It obviously had American Nightmare, but nothing since, and then come back to life with Alan Wake 2 and with a bang. But outside of that, it wasn't the biggest of household names, so it wasn't really destined for massive sales success. But in terms of what it's actually provided quality-wise, it is absolutely worth every penny and hour you put into it. So,
yeah, good. I might find out one day.
You will.
You will, dude. It's again. It's
when I put my big boy pants on, you know.
Someone just needs to go around your house and uninstall D4.
Oh, no chance, man. I'll slap the shit out of you. You touch my Diablo, man. Jesus Christ. We got a good long look at a battle in Dragon Age Veilguard, and I'll be honest with you guys, is that I've never played the Dragon Age games before. Tam, it's in our Discord, was like, how have you never played those games? And I can't decide if I want this game or not. There's times that I see it, I go, that's a me game. And I see something else and go, I'm a bit, And then I see something else, and I just cannot decide on this game at all. I keep saying that it could potentially be one of my Christmas games, but then that could be DD2. So I don't know where I land with Veilguard, I must admit. But what we saw last night, I thought looked very fucking good. I think that's the best I've seen it look. I thought that dragon battle looked phenomenal. Combat looked good. I like the sort of commands you can give to your pawns, I guess we could call them for argument's sake. Visually, I thought it looked really damn good as well. The fact that it's probably going to have some sort of pro enhancement, hopefully, as well. I don't know if that was confirmed. I just don't know. With Dragon Age Veilguard at all. What about you guys? I mean, first of all, are either of you on the game, and also what did you think of last night's footage?
Oh, dude, I'm in. It's not the game I'm most excited for, but like seeing all the previews, hearing from my friends who've played it, I am. Yeah, this is gonna be a very me-ass game. So to me, do I think this is gonna sell gangbusters? No, because BioWare has a lot to prove. Dragon Age is not their most popular IP, but I think this is the thing to prove to their fans. That this is a return to form for them. So I'm excited for it. I would think, actually, as I even say that, I would think it's probably my most anticipated game now that Astro's out. So I'm excited for it. My level of excitement for a lot of things is just like, I'm excited for it until like a few weeks before the thing comes out. And then I'll get like, all right, I'm in type of hyped. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yourself, Dutch?
I'm much like you, Donny. I've never been a Dragon Age guy. I think I've very dipped in on like one of the Dragon Ages on 360 years ago, but it never really caught my attention. This one looks good, but I'm also in the same mind frame as you are. Is some of it I'm thinking, yeah, that looks cool. I think I'll pick that up, and then other times I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm still undecided. Maybe it's a wait for sale game, and the amount of games that are coming out now, I have to wait. Like I was mentioning that, but I still haven't picked up FIFA, and it's like an idiot that I am. I always pick up FIFA, right? FIFA. They still call it FIFA, even though they've taken the rights away.
We all know it's FIFA.
Yeah, and then Astrobot, and I still haven't picked up Warhammer Space Marine 2, and I said I was
brother.
I know,
so good. Oh my god, yes.
Oh, I know, and I'm still playing through Visions of Mana, and then we've got so many games coming up. So obviously, we've got Indie coming up. We've still got Call of Duty coming up. I've just Age of Mythology's out there, and I'm still playing through that on the PC as well at the minute. And it's like, just stop.
I know. It's relentless. It's relentless. You know, first world problems, lads.
First world problems. I know.
First world problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I keep thinking what my Christmas game is going to be, and I keep tossing between maybe Veilguard, Dragon's Dogma 2, as I mentioned, but I'm sure something else will crop up. Do you know what I mean? I always have these big plans. That'll be my Christmas game, and it often changes, but we'll see. We'll see. I think, like anything, it could depend on review scores potentially.
Well, it's
Yeah.
going to be Game of the Year though.
No, it's
because Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster comes out the same day.
not.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's how you know,
Nice.
dude. That's the
That's
canary.
That's it. That's the canary. You called it. Good. All right. We then saw again. This was rumored recently, which I had missed, but Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver remaster, obviously coming out. And they've added a lot to it. Obviously, massive texture upgrade, but they've added a map now in Compass, which obviously was something that was completely missing from originals. They've even added things like right-hand stick camera movement, which again in these old games was a major hindrance. But it's added, so they've put a lot of love and attention at this, I must admit. For me personally, I wasn't a huge Soul Reaver fan. I was more Blood Omen. So I'm hoping that if this does well, Blood Omen gets the same treatment. And obviously Blood Omen is coming to PS Plus Classics this month. But it's just ports of the originals. It's just the old janky-ass games. But there's a lot of excitement for this. But where that transfers into sales, we don't know. But were either of you Soul Reaver fans back in your younger days?
No, but I'm very excited to finally get my hands on it.
Okay.
That said, because the Legacy of Kain, those games, I've heard nothing but oh my god, these are
phenomenal.
stellar.
They're phenomenal. Yeah,
so I'm excited
Blood
to play
Omen
them.
is stellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to just simply call out my friend Logan if he dares watches this. He's very excited for them, but he says that every single remake or remaster is a stain on this industry that hinders this industry to grow. And I would say, don't buy this game then, Logan. I will. Don't be tempted. Okay, because his thought is they can just go back to the code and add all those things out of the generosity of their hearts. So, okay.
Yeah. Love it. Dutch, yourself?
Yeah. Again, I have to just reiterate, as much as some of these older things getting remasters and nice shiny, it doesn't feel as janky to play now. Updates. The fact that we've got so many brand new games coming out, I'm never picking up any of these remastered editions.
Yeah,
it's the same with Tomb Raider. It was like I loved that game when it first came out. Yeah. I have absolutely no interest in picking up the original Tomb Raider trilogy. I don't have the time.
You're playing to a very specific audience that seeks out that nostalgia.
Yeah. That's what you're playing on. Yeah, I had Tomb Raider 2 and 3. I was never a massive Tomb Raider fan, to be fair. I had them when I was younger. I think my dad had probably bought them, but I don't have the same love for the original Tomb Raiders either. So I was not interested in the remasters at all. A bit like Soul Reaver, because it wasn't my thing. Blood Omen would be different though. If that did come back, then I would. But I do appreciate the fact that if you've got no ties to this game or any game that gets remastered, there's not probably anything in it for you. You're right, Joe. It's niche in a way. Yeah. But I tell you, they've put a lot of love into this remaster. Fair play to them. Adding in things like maps and stuff, that's good quality of life stuff to give people. So yeah, fair play to them. Fair play. If you're gonna do it, then at least do it right, and they've shown that. So yeah, got a lot of time for that. Monster Hunter Wilds, again, do you know what? This is a little bit like Veilguard in that I haven't played Monster Hunter games before. And we saw this, was it at the Xbox show or was it Gamescom? We saw
all of the above.
All of the above.
We've seen it too much.
Too much. But to be fair, those first two showings, or maybe even multiple, I thought, nah. Last night's footage, a bit like Veilguard, they've sent good footage because I thought, fuck, actually, maybe I've misjudged this game. Concerns about performance. Capcom's games at the moment, they're not good, and I think there's genuine concerns about Monster Hunter Wilds here. but I thought this looked good, and I loved the little. I wrote down cats, but I don't know obviously what the hell they are. But I thought they looked so charming and fun as well. So there was that element to it. I don't know if that's part of the normal lore. I don't actually know, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But again, I think it's a bit like Veilguard for me. I don't know where I kind of stand with this game. Review scores might dictate, but the point was last night's footage, I think, did it a lot of justice. I thought actually this actually looks pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's a game that I liked Wilds a lot. If I find a few other people that are playing it, I will be picking it up. But if not, I'll be letting it go.
Okay. Yeah.
I've tried many times.
Worlds. Did I say Wilds? The W's are throwing me off.
Yeah.
They always.
I'm the same, Joe. I've tried many times to get into Monster Hunters, and they always feel a little bit too sluggish to me in the combat.
Yep.
Which prevents me from really having fun with it. And yeah, it's probably meant to be played more with a group of friends that are also playing it and grinding through with you. But this one looked like and I don't know whether or not that's just them trying to show that they look like they have a more in-depth story with big, grandiose cutscenes and things like that. But every time I've played a Monster Hunter and I've attempted to play the Monster Hunters through, the story's more just taking the back seat, and it's kind of just go and do this and kill this monster and come back. And it's an overarching story, but it doesn't really intermingle with the world too much. It's kind of just there in the background, and they keep telling you about it when you go back to camp, and then you go out and do another monster hunt, and then you come back and you grind to get better gear to go and kill another monster. And like, if that's all this game is, then I'm no. And if Monster Hunter Wilds is the same, then it's still a no from me.
Yeah, I mean they are insanely popular games, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They are massive games. I think it's one of these things that I probably don't appreciate how popular they are. So I've no doubt for Capcom's perspective.
You're saying that, but you know what? The most strikingly popular game that I didn't realize was as popular as it is Farming Simulator. That game is like an absolute juggernaut.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I didn't realize it until Gamescom last year.
Yeah, it's massive.
Massive. So I have no doubt that Monster Hunter is an absolutely ginormous game with its fans, and they want it done correctly. Yeah. I am not one of those.
Same. Because I mean, obviously, at the moment they've got obviously on PS Plus, they've got that what the hell's it called? The EA's version that came out at the start of the year.
Yes.
Oh God. Oh me. Anyway, they've got that on there, and do you know what? Again, with this sort of 2 weeks in between Diablo, I saw it there, and I'm like, well, would I try it? And I just thought,
yeah,
it could actually be a really fun game. It's actually a thing, and it's there for free.
Wild Hearts, that's the one.
Wild Hearts. Well,
thanks.
I muted myself. I was trying to say it, and I was like, "Why is my mic not working?"
Why is he ignoring me? The fucker?
Yeah, it's so like
Wild Hearts. So, but it's probably one of these things I probably couldn't finish in a couple of weeks anyway. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what next year brings. We've got a date for that February 28th at this stage, but. Hang on, let me see. I've got my little listy here. It's not on the PS Pro list as of yet. So we shall see. Horizon Lego. We got a date confirmed, November the 14th, which we did know anyway because of a leak somewhere. So we knew that. Nice trailer, nice clips, looks fun. Looks charming. Not in the slightest for me. Not in this. I have absolutely zero desire to play a Lego game. As much as it could do the world of Horizon, amazing service, I ain't sitting playing a Lego game. But do appreciate that it's probably going to be very fucking popular, particularly on that little Nintendo console that sold 1 or 2 copies. There's one or two of them around, isn't there? This looks so fun, so charming.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm actually excited for it to see how it does, to see if that Horizon world can make a leap onto Nintendo and kind of curate with their audience. So yeah.
I love Horizon. The trophy room exists because of how much I love Horizon. So I'm automatically in. You show me a Horizon thing, I'm just going to buy it. I love that world. That being said, I'm very curious. Their pre-order bonuses. You get a little big planet outfit, a Ratchet and Kit Rivet costumes.
Yeah.
And when someone put out like a really good, I was trying to find the comment of like they are like these characters are going to show up on a Nintendo Switch, like these outfits.
Mm-hmm.
Would these be the next games that they put on Nintendo Switch or is Switch 2?
Oh.
I would really love that.
Ooh.
As you all know,
That's a
I don't
shout.
give. Yeah, I don't give a shit about the console where you put these games out. I love PlayStation not for the hardware. I love it for the software. So if the more of those developers get to make more of the games, put them day and date on PC, put them on the Xbox. I don't care. I would love to see more kids play Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank's phenomenal, man.
I love. Exactly. I love it so much. So yeah. Find a way.
And Rivet was such an amazing character, and Jennifer Hale's voice. Oh my god, I loved Rivet. She was so fucking good. Chris very much disagrees with you on the put games everywhere.
Put them everywhere. Just do it. I don't care.
But yeah, to be fair, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how Rift Apart would work. I suppose with Switch 2, Super Switch, whatever. You never know, I guess. But yeah, listen, not a bad shout. To be fair, I guess is that one they're thinking of. So, Dutch. I must admit, I'm not going to stereotype you, mate, in any way, shape, or form. You sexy Viking. You don't strike me as a Lego man or a Lego game man. I must admit.
I was very, very much a Lego kid growing up. Believe it or not, very much a Lego kid. So I haven't. You know what it is? This game looks really polished. Is this the newest? I'm trying to think if this is the newest. I mean, this gen we've had specifically for this gen Lego game that's come out.
There was the Skywalker, the Star Warsy Skywalker.
Was that not on Xbox One and PS4 as well?
Oh, that's a really good point.
Probably, because most games have been on, have had that cross, haven't they?
Exactly.
Let's see if Lego Horizon's purely PlayStation 5.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think you're right too. That's interesting. That's a
and
good
this
point
is
too.
The one thing I noticed about it immediately though was just how, for a Lego game, how graphically pleasing it looked for a Lego game. Yeah. It looked really super clean. It looked nice. Like it looked like it had ray tracing implemented in it there as well, which was quite apparent on sort of the shadows and the way things kind of interacted with each other and the bounce lighting. So from an actual visual perspective, that game looks super clean, unbelievably polished. And that's, but I also have to say, I am so glad they gave Aloy a personality in this game.
Oh, shut up, you. Shut up.
Why? Can we just translate this personality into Horizon? And I'm absolutely
I'll agree with Dutch. I think story-wise, West was a step back from Zero Dawn. I love Zero Dawn's story, but like there is personality missing out of Aloy. That is much. It's found a lot more in Burning Shores DLC that I would love them to expound on.
Right. Okay. Listen.
And also her to shut up, dude. She talks so much about putting things in her satchel. Okay. Aloy, I love you to death. You gotta shut that mouth, man. Every time, this is gonna be good in my satchel. This is gonna be great in my satchel. Oh, I wonder how I solve this puzzle by turning to the left and slightly upward. It's like, shut up, Aloy.
Well, the thing I don't understand, Dutch, right? We'll start it now. Right? You're going about her personality. She's a young girl in a post-apocalyptic world. What are you expecting? Do you think she's going to be like, hey, girls, let's go get drinks and go to Ibiza? What are you expecting her personality to be?
Ellie!
She's also raised by a very loving father in a nice village where she's it's not been the worst of upbringing. She hasn't
raised in.
Yeah, exactly, but she hasn't known the apocalypse before that.
Yeah,
so why would she be miserable?
The world, you're surrounded by danger everywhere you go.
Right, she finds it interesting. When she was younger, she had a person. When she was younger, she had a personality. Come on,
Elizabeth Williams, Last of Us Part 1 and 2.
It's like you're going to save the world.
Fictional character. She
Aloy,
like
you're going to save the world. She was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
good
suppose."
shout, Chris. Actually, she wasn't raised in the village; she was an outcast. Exactly.
yeah, but and I know they play
Thank you,
around with
Chris.
it a bit, but like they could play with it a little bit more of like her building her own
Cool
tribe.
matron.
Yeah.
You
He
know,
said.
Yeah. Or being
Yeah.
like, I don't mind. It's like it's a neutral. It's not that she's not like she doesn't come across as angry. If she was an outcast and she was really pissed off, then she should come across like a little bit more. I am upset with the world, angry kind of thing. She doesn't come across as happy. She's just completely bang neutral for the entire thing. It's like, fuck me, like convinced me that this is a thing that you want to do.
like there should like there's a lot of determination behind those eyes. Like I would love for her to explore again, which I think they do in Burning Shores a lot. Like the aspect of like, man, all the gods you worship are fake. Like that's a really cool concept. It's like I actually know the truth of all like this religious hokum. Like that's really cool. Again, there are things that they can do with her of how she relates or doesn't relate that she could seem a little bit less annoyed by some of the characters' presences. I felt a lot of West, the way I remember it, is her kind of going, okay, yeah, ha, on to this mission though. Like, you know, so to me, I think they hear that loud and clear too. I think that's a criticism that they've taken to heart, and I think you'll see an improvement on the third game. It's kind of like Ahsoka. Like Ahsoka season 1, that's S tier Star Wars in my opinion, and I love what she did with Ahsoka, but like she's also a little bit too stoic, and even kind of Rosario Dawson, the love of my life, has even said like, yeah, I hope in season 2 I get to like kind of break out of that shell. So. As a character, but
yeah, okay.
Ugly kid though.
We're
on to the actual gameplay though.
We're speaking about Aloy, so we might as
well. Onto the actual gameplay though.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue. The game in itself is beautiful, absolutely fantastic, runs really well. Combat wise, it is really fun. The world is made for exploring and kind of looking around and trying to find the next big beastie you want to take down and crafting the next big thing. And it's the world in itself is great. It's if Aloy wasn't just so dang neutral all the way through, where I wasn't quite sure whether she actually was asked about saving the world or not, then I would. I've got to have the same enthusiasm as the main character, and if she doesn't have the enthusiasm about what the next thing is, then why should I? Has been my old thing, and you just want those characters to have it. And and this is why I liked and played through Days Gone and Platinum Days Gone over playing through this, because I found Deacon had a bit more of a personality throughout all of it. He had an issue, he was upset, he got angry, he was sad, he cried over his lost partner, and then he found his partner again, and he was kind of taken back at what happened with things when you find her at the camp and so on. So there was actual personality and kind of things going on there. Yeah. So there was personality there, whether it be happiness, sadness, you've seen it on screen throughout that character. But with Aloy, no matter what the situations have been when I've been playing through it, it's just neutral. And that's the one thing I just wish that just give her a bit more angry. Don't be scared to have her swearing at someone a little bit more, or you know, getting or having a little bit of happiness at like a camp when they're having chill time, because it's not. Yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic world, but you tell me at some point somebody laughs and has an actual joke and a good time, because they're bound to at some point.
Ellie, Last of Us Part 1. Why are the pages stuck together? It's hilarious. You know?
Yeah.
It can be done.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my only gripe with the series. It's the only gripe I've ever had was just Aloy just needed a bit more character, a little bit more enthusiasm behind her convictions.
To be fair, it's not a unique opinion. Yeah. I get that. I just, I just look at it. It's the world, but it's fine. Listen, Dutch, everyone's entitled to opinion, even when you're wrong, so it's fine.
But the characters are laughing around her. That's the thing.
Yeah. Joe, you said that your podcast wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Horizon Zero Dawn. So talk me through your feelings on the remaster that we saw last night.
Yeah.
What you're thinking of it. And I suppose let's broaden it a little bit to the remaster chat, because obviously there's rumors that Days Gone's been remastered as well. That's causing quite a bit of.
I have the hottest take. You want to hear this?
Outrage. Go on. Hit me.
Okay. So first off, with the remaster, I said this on the show before I knew it was a thing, so you can't out me on this or whatever. If they were going to charge me $60-$70 for this thing, you're out of your mind. I would not buy this, right? If this was a $10 upgrade fee, I'm like, I'll pay for it. I've paid worse for a cheap platinum, right? I don't know if I'm diving into it, but like, yeah, no. For a guy that's bought in, I Am Mayo and I Am Mayo 2, I don't really have a leg to stand on. But the idea of this game being remastered my hot take is it's unneeded, it's unnecessary, but I think it speaks to the larger issue at hand here, which is that PlayStation does not have the roadmap, right? Where if we saw the roadmap prior to this thing being leaked or announced, we wouldn't really care, because the PS4 gen had just as many remasters and remakes and ports from Vita to PS3 games to the PS4, but we don't talk about it because we knew that Ghost was coming. We knew that Last of Us Part 2 was coming. We knew God of War was coming. We knew Days Gone was coming. We knew Spider-Man was coming. We knew Horizon was coming. Death Stranding. We had that roadmap. So we're like, okay, what? Okay, you're remaking God of War 3. Okay, whatever. Like, you're remastering The Last of Us. Okay, whatever. I think a similar treatment was that of like Shadow of the Colossus. It's a game that was ported over and remastered on the PS3 and then remade on the PS4 version. And you're like, oh shit, dude. I mean, it's Blue Point. So it's like, it's fine. We knew the roadmap, so we weren't upset. When all we see is, hey, Last of Us remastered. Last of Us Part 1 remake. We understand the math of the remake, right? You want to show the game off to like, you got this hit show. Fine. I understand it. I'm not thrilled. But then like to see this game and then rumored another one that's even younger than this get remastered, it's like, okay. All right, am I just playing remastered PS4 games, or am I going to get something worth waiting for? And that's where the real issue lies.
I'm gonna broaden that. Unless Dutch, you've got anything you want to interject regarding remasters. I'm going to tell you why. I've got a theory. Not a theory. It makes sense. Unless you got anything to say, Dutch, first.
I'm the same with Joe on the pricing front. If I'll get the $10 upgrade just so I've got the PS5 version of it, not the PS4 version of it. If it was, and I know thankfully, even though the full price for this for somebody picking up brand new is 50. It's not the worst.
No.
But saying that, it's like you said, if it was charging 70, it would be, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing? And I seen this other thing the other day, actually, and it was from a PlayStation fan complaining a bit more about first-party roadmap, but in a different way. He was looking at Naughty Dog specifically, and their output and their output over their term since Last of Us 1 originally released. Was Last of Us 1, The Last of Us 1 Left Behind DLC. Then they had Uncharted 4, and then they had the Last of then Uncharted
3,
Legacy
probably Uncharted 3 and then 4.
3, then 4.
Yeah,
and then they did Last of Us 2, I think it was, and then it was the Legacy of Thieves, which was a remaster, Legacy of Thieves edition. Then Last of Us remaster. And then it was Last of Us 1, and then The Last of Us remaster for the PS4, and then Left Behind, and then so it went on and on and on, and then it gets to The Last of Us 1 remake remaster, and then Last of Us 2 remaster, and it's like, that's all they've done is just Uncharted release and then remaster, and Last of Us release and then remaster, and that's all they've done for the last 15 years.
But do you know all I hear there? It's banger after banger after banger.
God damn it.
So you
listen, the same game over and over again doesn't get you the same damn trophy.
You've given me a list of fucking great games. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh
No,
God
listen,
damn it!
I'm going to tell you my theory on the remaster thing is that if you cast your mind back when Sony did a quarterly update, I want to call it 6 months ago, might have been slightly longer. They announced that 30% of PS5 owners didn't own a PS4. 30%. Now, if we say that today, and we even say more, and we say it's more conservative, that is 15 million people with a PlayStation 5 did not have a PS4. 15 million. Now, if you cast your mind back to the summer, or summer of last year, when Phil Spencer was on Kinda Funny, do you remember what he said? He said, we lost the worst generation to lose. And why did he say that?
Agree.
Because we said we lost the Xbox One generation because everyone was what? Building their libraries.
Yeah.
So if you're PlayStation, you have 15 million people with no allegiance to PlayStation because they're new to the console era. Sorry, they're new to this era of PlayStation. They could easily sway back. PlayStation want to get 15 million people with as many of these games in their library as possible. Playing these games that they missed. They might have played them in the time, but that is the target. You or me paying £10 for an upgrade. By the time Sony pays VAT and tax, they're making a $5 a pop. That's nothing. That's fucking. It's negligible money. That is 15 million people they want to get in this ecosystem, invested in it, building the library that we already have that they don't, so that when the PS6 comes out, they have no choice. They do not want to sway back.
They'll get to remake it.
Whatever. Get to remake it again. That is what it's about for me. There's so many. That 30% is outrageous for someone that's in sale.
Yeah,
30% new customer. That's unbelievable data. And that's the big thing.
My argument is a little different here. One of my buddies would argue, hey, that's 120 million PS4 players. Like, there's no justification when you could play the same game. It's going to work mechanically, just look a little less shiny. Like, it's an unneeded remaster. Where I would argue, to me, we're picking what to get excited for when it comes to a remaster or a remake, and picking what's to get angry about. Because you take a look at Horizon, right? That game gets remastered. Everybody's really angry. They're like, really? No Bloodborne remake or remaster, and that game's only 2 years older. So it's like we're picking and choosing what we're yelling at. Now, do I think Bloodborne needs it more? Yes, and I'm very biased, and I understand that.
Needs it more, but it sold a third of what Horizon Forbidden West Zero Dawn did.
Right, but like, to me, I take a look at the argument of like, just because the units sold of the previous gen may be higher or lower, doesn't give the fact that it's still a remaster or a remake. Like, the number one selling game on Nintendo Switch is a remaster of Mario Kart 8. So literally their highest selling game is is a remaster of a Wii U game. It doesn't matter how many million people or what have you. Like, like the one figure that I always pull up is, I remember one of the news stories of like most people buying a PlayStation 4 version of The Last of Us Remastered never played The Last of Us before. I think that it was like a 3 to 4, like 70% of players that bought the remaster were new to The Last of Us. So it's like,
point.
It's like, to me, it's I can understand it if this is, and I think it would make me swallow this medicine better if it was like, all right, can we get an update on like your new direction to the Horizon show? You know, because that would be like, all right, I get it, they're making a show, whatever. But without it, I understand why people are like, "I man, enough." But I think the real issue is because we don't have the solid roadmap. That's
yeah. And I mean, listen. Forgetting all those points as well, the footage that we saw, this game looks incredible.
Looks really good.
To get Forbidden West visuals in this game with the haptics, 3D audio, 10 hours extra of mocap and voice work. I mean, this looks incredible. And as well, it's going to be pro enhanced as well. So, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, this, for me, it's a slam dunk. I get it. And like I said, I've put my case of why it's happening. But forgetting all that, forgetting all the complaints about remaster, whatever else, it does look incredible. And if you like video games, fuck, you're getting a great one there, because Zero Dawn's phenomenal. So I was well impressed with how that looked, because Forbidden West is still just stellar to look at in every screen, you know. So I'm excited for it. Are you, I take it, Joe, you said you're going for a tenner, you're going to...
Yeah, for a tenner, fine. But if this was something I would have to, like, rebuy... No, I'm good.
No. To be honest with you, right? I'm telling you right now, I probably would have rebought it at full price. I'm not much of a fan of the game that much.
You're the problem,
Dony. Listen, never denied it. Never denied it, baby. You know? Good game. Good games are good games.
But the thing is, what
you have to remember for me is that I played Zero Dawn on the base PS4. Didn't play it on the Pro. I played it on the base PS4. So for me, if you think about the upgrade, for me, stellar.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to play Horizon Forbidden West on the PS4 Pro, and that was chugging away.
I bet it was. Yeah,
it was. I couldn't hear myself think. Like, dear God. Put the headphones on.
Yeah. I used an expression the other day when we were describing Jedi surviving the PS4. It was like, it probably sounded like Heathrow at midday. You know? So I imagine Forbidden West would have been exactly the same. Yeah. Chris is saying, brave man. Yeah, trying that on your PS4 Pro. Very quickly before we kind of move on, we then got a brief look at Stellar Blade, a crossover with Nier, which I think is very exciting. Very exciting. Looking forward to seeing exactly what's going to entail. The soundtrack is also now live across your music apps, because that soundtrack is fantastic. And of course, photo mode. Oh, the photo mode! I tell you, there's going to be some photos on Twitter.
We had a good laugh when they announced photo mode.
Wow.
Like, you degenerates.
Yeah,
degenerates.
That photo mode is going to be.
God,
going to be hot. Reddit. I can see the channel already on Reddit. You know, so give me more Stellar Blade, because that's. Do you know what? I didn't include it in my top 3 so far this year. It creeps in and out because it is that damn good. I'll be surprised if it's not in my top 5, because I do love that game so much. Before we move on to there's some sort of game coming out. It's based in the Far East. I don't know. We actually got a little update on the PS5 Pro, and must admit, I was a little bit annoyed at this. You know, Mark Cerny comes out. I thought, we're going to get some details here. And we got very quick action scenes of 10 games back to back, you know, naming the games, and it was all very fast and glitzy, and what the fuck? You know what I mean? We got nothing really out of it apart from showing the list of games. It's all fast and furious. But then afterwards, we then got a blog post outlining various games and developers and commentary. I thought, this is brilliant. That blog post was fantastic. It literally laid out various games, telling us what you're going to get from the Pro and what it's adding in. This is fantastic. I feel why did they not spend 5 minutes max showing that on the state of play? It just seemed like such a faux pas to show the stupid action fucking sequence of nothing, and then drop a great blog post that outlined everything when everyone's tuning in. So I must admit, I was a bit disappointed in that. Don't know if I'm the only one. Didn't really make much sense.
No, I think a few people would have been expecting a little bit more. Okay, PS5 Pro is coming out. Show me what the differences are.
Yeah,
and why I should have one.
Yeah, it didn't show you, but it verbally told you afterwards. Which, unless you're on Twitter, you would never really look for the PlayStation blog. Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing that's wound me up about PlayStation more over the last couple of years than anything else. Is they going into a weird marketing way, and they can market games very well, but I still harken back to when God of War Ragnarok released, and it was just a blog post of the release date, and I was like, "Sorry, what? Like, why?"
Like, the communication really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Let's not stay on this topic for too long. I get high blood pressure.
Yeah, yeah. But their communication and their way that they've been talking about things, or the way they've went about talking about things over recent years, 2 years specifically, has been really baffling to me, because they used to be really straight to the point, and they'd shove it down your throat as to why something needed to be bought. You're like, this is the PS5, and this is why it's so good, and look at all these haptics, and now this one was just like, and buy a PS5 Pro, and you get the awesome haptics of it. We know we've got the haptics. We've had that with a PS5. So
was that your Mark Cerny impression there? Was it? That was good.
Yeah. If you zoom in and you pinch the screen and you look real close, it's like, I think the PS5 Pro has not been sold to us, not even decently. That said,
like I said to you in the green room, tonight's Digital Foundry video sold the PS5. They sold that PS5. Even if you don't watch the whole hour, watch the conclusions at the end. They sell the PS5. They tell you.
So here's why I'll get booed in the chat, because if I know I'm getting booed in the chat, I know I'm doing good. If I didn't own a PlayStation channel, I would not be buying a Pro. No, there's absolutely there's nothing that compels me to go spend $700 on this thing. And I don't have the time for the 20-minute Digital Foundry article to explain to me why I need to get excited for it. The way I look at it is this, right? Because I feel like there's two gaslighting arguments. The one side of it's like, you're just poor, yes, and this thing is more powerful than some of the most elite PCs out there. False. And then you got like these PC arguments that are just trying to gaslight you by telling you you could go build a PC for the relative price of $800. And it's okay, Joe. It's an hour. Exactly. I don't have time for an hour.
But
Jesus
watch
Christ.
The conclusion. Just watch the last. It's all timestamped.
Listen to the conclusion. 20 minutes long. But to me, I take a look at the other arguments. Like, I'm so upset that I'm building an $800 machine because I don't like the $700 option. It's like, so it lacks, to me, is like, you're being emotional. Like, it's not, and even when they're like, you could kind of, like, when Digital Foundry talks about, well, the arguments for a PC, I'm like, no, the argument for a PC is still, to build that spec is still very expensive. To me, I'm just like, my argument for not upgrading is, I'm very content with my PS5. I like it. It's doing a bang up job. Like we made fun about, but it's fine. I don't mind having to. I'm not gonna pay an extra $300 just to not think about switching. So to me, or a Switch. To me, I take a look at my PS5 and I'm like, it does what I want it to do. I'm content with it. And the reason why I upgraded from a PS4 to a PS4 Pro wasn't just because, oh my God, you zoom in on that grass. It's because my PS4 base was sounding like a jet engine. The reason why I wear headphones all the time is because I needed to drown out the jet engine. And the PS4 Pro did a better job at that. And so for me, it's like, there's nothing here that screams, I need to take my base PS5 and spend an extra $200 on a PS5 Pro. It doesn't scream to me. That said, then you go over to this Ghost of Yotai reveal, and I often joke about, it's not even a joke. It's half serious. Like, if I could wipe my brain and play Red Dead Redemption again for the first time, I would pay a good solid $500 and I'll buy the system in the game. Like, I just want to experience priceless. I see Ghost of Yotai and I'm like, fuck, I need me a Pro. like all the complaints kind of go away because I'm like, I finally see a thing I really, really want, and I want to see all the leaves I can see. And that's what, at the end of the day, it all goes down to, we needed that roadmap. Now that we know 2025 is Death Stranding and Ghost, I think a lot more of us are kind of like, still a little hungry, but fine. And that's where I'm at. Again, PS5 Pro, I don't care if it calls out sick for me. It's like, it's $700, man. I got the thing that plays the game. You know, so
Just not as well. You know.
all right. As well, it's like again, if I gotta zoom in and I got like, and I already got dumb eyes that like, if I don't have that switch in front of me, I really could not tell you what's 60 or 30. I got dumb eyes, guys. Couldn't tell you.
Christ, Joe.
Unless I'm in old Yarnum, Bloodborne runs fine. So it's like, you know, to me, it really doesn't matter much. But then I see Ghost of Yotai, and I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to be an idiot with my finances. Who needs to go buy a house? Let's do this. Let's do this instead.
You only live once, mate. You only live once.
Why not spend it on the thing that does something marginally better? Let's go.
Absolutely. It's all about those small margins, baby. Okay, listen, you mentioned Ghost, you know, the PS5 Pro little stupid video they did finish, and then we thought that was it. And I remember sitting there going, listen, that was good. I enjoyed that. A lot in it for me, a lot there. Games for everyone. So I always say, there's something there for everyone. And then up it popped. And I thought, it's Jin. It's June. it's a she. Ghost of Utah. Oh my fucking god. We knew. I think we knew a sequel wasn't going to be too far away. And I'd said in our Discord beforehand, I hope that this is the one more thing, and we see Jin Sakai. And obviously, they've gone down a different route, 300 years in advance, new protagonist, Atsu. Keep forgetting her name. We don't know a lot about her. She's clearly not a samurai.
Atsu, I think is her name.
Atsu, yeah. I don't know if she's some sort of bounty hunter, because there's that scene where she cleans the blood on the writing on the text. Well, I wasn't sure if it was Ronin or not. That's the thing. I didn't really, because obviously we don't know too much yet. If that's what it's going down.
The Ronin
hat almost suggested Ronin, didn't it? I'm sure there's a real name for that, not a hat. But yeah, I must admit, I'm hat, yes. But I'm extremely excited, I must admit. Double sword, we've got a chain
I'm devastated.
weapon, whatever the name of that is, a rifle. You're devastated. Why?
I'm devastated.
Why?
Because they made the game woke, dude.
Yeah, DEIs came in.
Oh my god, it's so
all those
DEI.
Assassin's Creed guys are going to be going absolutely off it right now, aren't they?
They already are. They already are.
The whitest guys that own Komodos are so upset right now.
Yeah.
Can I just say something here? Those people, like the Grums of the world, y'all are the most pathetic fucking people I've ever seen in my life. And I knew people that were voting for RFK, and you guys are so sad and pathetic and desperately need more incredible females in your life and people that just are different in your life, because Jesus Christ, the level of pathetic that has been the past 8 months. We can't get away from these fucking loser grifters that are just, they can't masturbate to the character, and that means they're upset, or that they still will. It's just going to take them a little bit more time. It's just so pathetic. It's sad to see where the discourse is and how many Russian bots there are. It's just, we fall for it every time. We don't fucking see it. Like the whole Gamergate thing. Oh, it's about ethics in video games. No, it's just to see if this grift works in the real world, and it does. All the grifters there moved on to grifting in politics. They are not real gamers. They've even admitted it out loud, and they still buy it because they are so just one brain cell away from being brain dead. They can't see that they're being fucking... that their anger that they are not being accepted has burned them so bad that they're like, yeah, I need to see this woman's gamer card to see if she's a real gamer. Yet I've never seen Grumps put out a gameplay clip, let alone a video game.
That's been funny to watch roll out into the public, by the way. Have you seen his video game?
Yeah, and it looks like the alpha that is okay. So it's like, these people are so sad and pathetic. Yeah. To go after just because it's not Jin Sakai. Like, go absolutely
It's not even that.
get
It's not even
fucked.
that. If it was a different male protagonist, they wouldn't have given a fuck.
Right.
Or if it was someone that resembled Eve from Stellar Blade, they wouldn't have given a fuck.
Yeah.
Because there was that one guy that was trending today that was complaining about it, saying it was woke and all this shit. The same guy tweeted 6 months ago that he platinumed Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
So it was okay to play as Eve. Yeah.
Well, but not even that. For that dumb loser, I want again. Let's see them those credentials, because have you not played Ghost of Tsushima 1? Because there are 2 really badass females to start, and I remember the conversation around it going, man, I would love a game about her.
Yeah.
Love a game centered around her.
Yeah.
And it's like, it changes just because we're in an election year. That now everything's political, everything's a DEI, everything is just this pedestal that is just the stupidest people are talking and complaining, and for some reason they won't go away. They won't just shut up and sit at the kids' table. Because there's real discussion to be talked about with this game. But
yeah.
I just needed that rant or else I'd explode.
I like it. I loved it. I loved that fucking rant. That was awesome.
I mean, the whole grift thing continues to fail, though. We saw the grifters with Hogwarts Legacy, and that was an absolute clusterfuck of a fail. Like that thing, failed so highly that it was the highest selling game for like the entire year.
And then and then you take a look at the grift with Warhammer. A week before Warhammer comes out, it's woke. They have a female Marine in it. You could paint your armor the gay flag or whatever. And then it's a sales success. This is actually a victory for us. Shut up, dude. Moving the goalposts constantly is just annoying. They're just annoying. They're just the dumbest people, the biggest hypocrites. And it's just like, all right, we gotta sit here and hear you guys complain. I just mute, just block. And I love they're upset. They're blocking us. Oh, good. I love it. Erica, keep doing it.
Yeah.
These people are
shit out of them. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of the game and the footage that we saw, Dutch, were you a fan of Ghost of Tsushima?
I'm literally started a fresh playthrough after seeing Ghost of Utah yesterday. So
nice. Nice.
Yeah, no, a fantastic game, and it's beautifully done. You know what it is? I loved even playing it on the PS4. I loved the interaction it had with the controller, where it's the wind blowing through the thing, and you switch to the direction, so the wind can tell you the direction to go in and things like that. Just little nuances where they make the mechanics work with the controllers. Yeah, that's the one thing that I always wished that Xbox would do. Like when, for instance, we go back and speak about when Xbox first released haptics in their controllers on the triggers, and then it only ended up being Forza that actually used it, and then nobody else actually did anything with it for the rest of its lifespan. Even now, it does not. Nobody uses the little haptics that controller has. But PlayStation first party always do make the most of these features. As much as I'm glad I don't have to, outside of Astrobot, blow into my controller and get it clogged up with spit. Like the actual...
Yeah, I hate that bit as well.
And sometimes the noises take you off guard when they're coming out of the speaker. You're like, whoa, well, what's that? What's happening? But it's still cool to have these little things where they're making use of some of these mechanics that are actually built into the controller as well. And Ghosts was one of them. I like the wind mechanic where you just swipe on the touchpad to get the wind to tell you, okay, that's the direction I need to go. Brilliant. And the wind coming out of the speaker and things like that. But overall, I think the attention to detail that they've put into it was fantastic, especially in the first one where they had I've forgotten the mode type, but it was the harkening back to old traditional kind of Japanese films where it was black and white. Fantastic kind of stylization there, and overall just a really kind of epic game. So seeing a new one, it was a really high end finish to it, and I can't wait to play the game when it comes out. It looks fantastic.
Yeah. I love the fact that we saw the little poster there, the dual swords. You've got a rifle next again, so it's 300 years in the future, and we've got some sort of like chain weapon. I'm assuming there is a real name for that. It's not just called chain weapon. So new tools to your arsenal. are coming as well. So
she's also wearing a Hanya mask. So, and a Hanya mask is someone who's scorned.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what Hanya masks. I've got 2 Hanya masks on my leg. I'm covered in Japanese art, so I'm
familiar.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Hanya masks. There's several versions, but it's usually someone who's scorned or someone who's kind of.
Look at that! Look at that! Oh. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm. Obviously, as we get closer to the release of, say, in 2025, we're obviously going to get a few more details. I'm intrigued to know, Joe. Like we saw that wolf there. Do you think that's a companion, or is that just
Dude, I fucking hope. I hope we get that feed that little boy biscuits. Oh my god, dude. I hope that is a sign that we get to pet that good old boy, and that he's gonna be our friend. Because he's grumpy, but like he's just hungry. You just gotta feed him, give him a little rub belly. That's it.
Chris has said Kazaragama is the blade on the chain. Nailed it. Yeah. It seems there. I mean, that scene, obviously, that the wolf was obviously like snarling at her, but it was almost like it was a playful thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've took it. So I'm wondering if it is some sort of companion, or is it just replacement for the foxes? Of course. Is it just as simple as that? So that's going to be interesting to find out as well. But I just cannot wait to jump back into this world because, like you said, Dutch, Tsushima was just phenomenal. So I'm just intrigued to see how they take it to the next level. I was a bit not concerned was the wrong word. I was curious how they were going to adapt Jin's story into a sequel. Would it just be the same again? The Mongols are gone now. He's going to go to mainland Japan and try and fight samurais. So they've taken all that away.
Tap me in.
Gone, let's make a new story within the world.
Tap me in here, Coach. I love people that are upset that it's not Jin, and I'm like, understand, like, they already took massive amount of liberties here. If Jin would go to mainland Japan to fight the Mongols, we're now just completely talking total alt history. Like, there are different, like, the Mongol invasion is already a big disaster for that army. So, like, for them to, like, just even try made no sense. It's something we were talking about a while back, maybe even when the game came out. It's like, where do you go from here? Different protagonists, different time periods. And I think they made the absolute best choice. In fact, I love it for them to keep going back and forth in history, Yeah. And just travel through points in Japanese history that, maybe like, we're seeing gunpowder. So like maybe you're the last samurai, you know what I mean? Like maybe this is the birth of those clans. Like
hopefully not the film The Last Samurai.
I wouldn't mind, but you know what I mean? Like it's just listen, it's problematic. Yes. Did I have fun? Absolutely. But like, it's those things I think it would be really exciting for them to dive into. The history that we know because of pop culture and the history that we don't. It's really cool, man. I love this whole entire concept. It's great.
Yeah.
The great thing about the history of it's both Japan's history in around samurais, Mongols, etc. But when you go into the history of a lot of these kind of conflicts throughout the ages, is that there was always stories of certain people that lived in those times that ended up being heroes for doing these extraordinary feats that you could branch out and explore and talk about and do things like that. And especially when you're talking about Japan's history, and it especially comes to the like you say, the samurai, the ronin, the ninjas, then you've got the Mongol invasion, you've got so much story or capability, whether it could be politics or some of the people that have went up through the ranks and in the political structure and things like that. There's so much they could look at. So there's a potential longer franchise for Ghost of, depending on which take it down. It's going to be interesting to see where they go after Yutai as well, if they choose to do another one in this thing, and who they choose to, and what time frame they choose to do that. Yeah. And again, you mentioned the kind of Mongol invasion and things like that, but if you did do a game in that sense, you might go through the downfall of Japan from that perspective. not every game has to be a positive ending game. It could be
Yeah.
fought your best against the Mongol invasion, and you ended up having to retreat at the end, and it's ceremonial, or you died at the very end of the game or something. But either way, an epic game nonetheless. And yeah, Utah is going to be another great one. And again, as Joe mentioned before, with the grifters not knowing anything about history and things like that, women were trained in martial arts in Japan. People know, and they were trained to defend as samurais only and when their country needed them to be, or their establishment required them to be, to defend their husbands and their town in which they lived in. So they were all trained to do so and trained to fight. And again, if they knew the mythology of the Hanya mask and what the Hanya mask entailed and what she's wearing on there, which is a Hanya mask, you would know that there was a backstory to that as to why she's wearing a Hanya mask in the first place, which is usually it's a scorned lover or family member, someone that's kind of got pain in there that's turned to that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, no, like you said, but they don't care to know, and they don't care to know that, Tsushima had 3 phenomenal female.
I mean, right at the opening, literally opening segment, you meet one of them who knifes a god.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a complete and utter badass. Like,
she is. Yeah. And to be fair, Lady Masco was probably my favorite. She was fucking awesome. So,
yeah. She was she was a spicy old lady with the bow, right? If I'm not,
yeah,
loved
spicy
her,
old lady. Yeah,
and old lady kicking ass, dude. God, how could I forget that?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Like, dude, there's so much. I need to go replay that game. My memory's done.
Yeah, I know. But there's just not enough hours. I mean, that firmly goes to number 2 on my most anticipated list, straight up there to number 2. So obviously, Death Stranding 2 is number 1. Obviously. Should be number 1 on everyone's list. So
Fable's still mine.
But that's 3 years away. Yeah, mate. Don't worry about it. I'm on about
yeah. That's next year as well. I'm
good
next year.
I hope.
No chance that's next year. I'll do a £10 charity bet with you right now.
Playground. I have full faith in Playground.
£10
you know
charity bet right now.
I wanna believe in Dutch.
Yeah. Digital handshake.
Yeah, that's never making next year. Sorry, Dutch. Hang on. To back up a little bit, are you talking about next year on Xbox or PlayStation?
Hey,
I couldn't resist.
I don't care. As long as I get to play Fable.
To be fair, I'm the same. I love Fable as well, so I'm kind of the same. Don't worry.
Yeah. So no, that's Death. Yeah, I mean, this Death Stranding as well for me looks far more action packed, which I think is going to benefit the series as a whole. I think the one thing that put people off Death Stranding 1 wasn't that it wasn't a good game, because it was a fantastic game with a really interesting story, and the soundtrack was magnificent, by the way. But it was just the opening segment where you're literally just traversing for a bit, and a lot of people would have just been like, nope. No, I'm not just walking around with backpacks on. I can't be dealing with this. But when you get past that and you've got to try and dodge the soldiers and dodge all the ghosts and things like that, that becomes a whole nother concept.
Yeah.
And this one just looks like they've just, I wouldn't say strayed away from the whole carrying luggage thing, because they might still have that implemented in here.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to, yeah.
Yeah, but it definitely looks more action packed. So I'm more excited for DS2 than I did on DS1.
I'm so hyped. I love DS1, DS2, let's go.
Same. Kojima-san's got 90 minutes on stage at TGS. 90 minutes.
90 minutes to fluff his own ego.
90 minutes. Like it needs any more fluffing.
Is he talking about all of his projects, though? Because he has 3. He's got PlayStations, he's got Xboxes, and he's got a 3rd.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just DS2, but I don't actually know. But he's got 90 minutes. It was an hour, and he's asked for more time. It was 90 minutes.
Oh, dear me.
I mean, you've seen his credits. Come on, fine. He was getting more time. Man wasn't settling for an hour.
No.
Chris is saying just Death Stranding. So okay, yeah.
The 90 minutes is just for the credits, the opening credits.
Yeah, he's got cast on stage as well. So excellent. Gentlemen, that's the show. We're done.
It's been a blast.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you very much. So, if I just before I let you go, if you were to score it out of 10, the state of play, where do you put it?
Solid 8.5 for me.
Nice.
There's games I want to play. When I think about these showcases, and I think now more than ever, I think less about the exclusive there and more just like, is this a game that I'm interested to play?
Yep.
And then that's where and there's a lot of games I'm very excited to play, and a game I'm very, very excited to play. And there it leads me to, I don't want to get overindulgent because I really don't want to let the, I don't want to let it affect me much as time goes by. So I think 8.5 is fair for me.
Yeah. RPG in the chat says 8 out of 10. Dutch yourself?
7.
Seven.
Fair.
But that's I come into this again, like I mentioned before, both Xboxes and PlayStations events, whether it's a showcase or a smaller event, I look at them from their own console perspective, not a third-party perspective.
Yeah.
Third-party games are all great that we're getting them, but I bought PlayStation-specific games.
That's fair.
I didn't buy them for anything else. So I was looking at, and I was surprised, to be fair. I did not expect to see any unveilings of brand new titles for PlayStation first party.
No.
So I was pleasantly surprised to get Ghost of Yotei on there, which is I'm very happy about, because I've actually got something I'm looking forward to now. So
Good.
Woo.
I think I'm probably more towards the 9, a little bit more towards the 9, because a few more things in there for me. But 8.5, 8. Looking at the chat, Chris says 8, RPG says 8, James says 7.5. So we're all kind of within that range. Good show, excellent, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Dutch, sign us off where we can find you. Joe, you do the same, and then we get the fuck out of here.
Joe, if you want to go first, sir.
Oh man, you could find us tonight. First and foremost, if anybody's lingering from last night's stream, thank you all so much. We almost broke 100 concurrent watchers, which was nuts to me. And I think that's mostly to do with our new excellent, but yet temporary co-host, Light. She was fantastic. I love all the feedback that we've been getting. So if you want to see our reactions live, head on over to youtube.com/PS Trophy Room. You get to see our live reactions from last night. And then you get to see us break down this show as well as we talk about the whole did Concord actually cost $400 million or not? We talk about that Ubisoft financial review that don't look very good. We talk about that Ubisoft Shadows being delayed to February. All that and more over at the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, tonight at 8 p.m. Standard Time over at youtube.com/PS Trophy Room, and on podcast services, the Trophy Room. Over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where usually each and every week me and my best friend Kyle and now Light talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation each and every Thursday. So all that goodness, it's
Busy man.
Oh, dude! Yesterday, real talk. Before we go, I literally went to work. I had to go hang out with my grandma. She's doing better. She's doing better.
Good.
It was her birthday. We had to celebrate that. Then I had to run home, set up this stream, and then now I'm doing the show notes. It's just wild. And tomorrow I go to work and try to get myself a PlayStation 5 Pro off PlayStation Direct, which is renowned for hating me and won't let me actually buy anything because there's a weird glitch that blocks my credit card and address. So
What are we thinking? What are we thinking that the PS5 Pro Bundle Edition, Super Ultimate Edition collection is going to be?
$999.
1,500. Yeah, I'm thinking 1,500. But someone out there has done someone out there bought a lot of cocaine for the office, and they're going to try to justify that as 2,000. I wouldn't. I'd say I would love 1,200. I expect 15, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see 2K.
Which balmy person thought I'm only going to make 12,000 of these units?
Dude, it's what they're like. We really care about these numbers.
For the world.
Everybody flipped on this console because of the color.
Yeah, there's no chance I'm getting one. I'm gonna try.
Exactly. I'll give it a go, and then what? But if not, it's fine. I just really want the Edge controller. I love my Edge.
At least you can buy that. To be fair, separately.
Yeah, but it's still that one's only through Direct where I'm from.
Yeah,
which sucks.
I still haven't thought about justifying buying an Edge. I've got Elite controllers, and I got the last Elite controller I got for the PlayStation was a Nacon controller.
Yeah.
Nacon Revolution Pro for the PS. And I've been looking at the Edge, but I still can't realistically justify.
No, you shouldn't. If you only play PlayStation exclusives, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you were playing multiplayer games with this, I'll tell you, this has seen some very big wear and tear. Jesus, there's some bubbles on the back here, but like this is my favorite controller ever. I simply love it. And this is where I'll only get fanboyish. Built a way better than a fucking Elite controller.
Oh,
They
no doubt.
built it out of
Not
dust
even-
and
not
brittle
This
parts.
is it's lasted the longest, and I'm surprised it's lasted this long. But it also the RB button doesn't work anymore, so I have to remap it onto a paddle button.
It's a shame. If you spend any amount of money on any hardware, should last you. You know, especially if you're like, this is the Elite, and it's like 3 months. Okay, that's
Indeed.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll give Phil Spencer an angry email.
Yes. Yes.
Dutch, sign us off, mate.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm on the World of Gaming with Boxy tomorrow. He's just finished doing his tests for work, and he passed. So woohoo!
Nice. Congrats.
So, I hope that's him getting his promotion that he was after. So he'll be now able to relax. He was putting off playing Age of Mythology because if he played it, he would never come off it, and he wouldn't do his studying for his his work test. So now he can relax and play Mythology until for his heart's content. And but yeah, other than that, show's back on tomorrow, so we can catch up and discuss. We'll have a lot to discuss actually, because we'll have PlayStation Showcase, which we'll discuss together, and Xbox's TGS Showcase, which is tomorrow morning when I'm at work. So I won't see it until I get home. Then I'll have to quickly watch what I've and then jump straight on the podcast. I'll have an hour between doing that, getting ready, eating food, watching that, and then getting on a podcast. So that's going to be fun.
Nice.
Manic, as always. But yeah, so you can find me Wondering Dutch everywhere on Twitter, on Xbox, PlayStation, on YouTube, and World of Gaming on Boxenberger's channel as well.
Excellent.
So thank you again for the invite. I like that these are shorter episodes.
I always try and keep it between the 90 and 2 hours, but people don't like it when I go above 2 hours. So I always try and keep it within.
Our pros, me and Boxy, we've got a habit of just ranting forever. So ours are always 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, try and keep it below that too if I can. So try and speed it along where possible. Sometimes it doesn't happen though. If the chat's good, you can go on. But
exactly.
Yeah. Good. No, gentlemen, and thank you very much as usual. Do appreciate your time and to people who've tuned in. And as usual, obviously, most of our people still prefer podcasts. That's fine. It will be uploaded to podcast on what day is this, guys? Wednesday. Friday. It'll be up there for you podcast people. And thank you very much all for listening. Usual reminder: Friday you'll get the main Pure Dead Gaming podcast goes live. The Pure Dead Xbox one once a month. The new one just came out yesterday, the day before, and you'll get me fortnightly. So. Thank you very much.